Oh, that would be a nice tree to film in front of. I'll have to do that another day. I'm very much looking forward to filming outside more often. Today it was super overcast, so there's no sun beaming in my face. Hi everyone, a massive welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a lovely week, weekend, day, evening, night, morning. So if you saw my post on Instagram, then you will already know that from this day onwards, I'm going to be bringing Truth Tuesdays back onto my channel. No, this isn't a drinking mug. I'm not doing sippy sippy in this video. I'm going to be doing picky picky. And I started a series called Truth Tuesdays years ago when I thought it would be fun to basically do a Q&A, but in a more exciting way. Q&As can be a little bit boring sometimes. I mean, like, how many times can you ask your favourite YouTuber what their favourite colour is? Truth Tuesdays was a way that you could ask questions that you wouldn't really feel comfortable asking other YouTubers or even your friends or your family. Like, this is a proper, like, deep, dark discussion most of the time, and the topics raised in a lot of old episodes on this are quite risky and controversial, but I really like that. I don't like small talk. Is there a better way of getting to know someone? I don't think there is. So how this usually works is you guys ask me a question, anything you want. If you want to be anonymous, just put on the question anonymous please. You can send me it by email, you can tweet me it, you can Facebook me it, you can put it on the video comments to this video. But for this first episode, I popped onto my Instagram and got you guys to ask questions on the post. I will put every single question I get given in here. Inappropriate or not, it's still going in. Honesty is best policy, and also filming these always make me feel a little bit better and like refreshed and open, and I've really missed that aspect to my channel. Now to just pray that my neighbours aren't listening. So we usually do about 5 in one episode depending on how deep and long the questions are. So this question is from Evie Marianne. Evie Marianne. Hi Evie. Worst or weirdest fan/watcher encounter? Okay. This is probably my most asked question from friends and family. Somebody has actually sent me like a cutting of their hair in my PO box once. I'm not entirely sure if it was their real hair or not. I don't know if it was a doll still to this day. She did say in the letter it was her own hair. It made me feel very uncomfortable, as you can imagine. Didn't put it in a video because I feel like that's the reason she did it, for like that shock factor, and I didn't really want to give her that satisfaction. Similarly to that, someone also sent me a picture of like himself dressed in like gothic attire, and like he also sent me a picture of like dark and creepy grudge kind of looking stuff, picture of like the demon, I don't even know, the stuff he believed in. And although some of you may say that's just what he wanted to send you, like that's not creepy, it's just what he believes in and all that stuff, he was like a devil worshipper or something like that. I mean, I'm all for anything that you guys want to believe in, but it made me feel so uncomfortable for so long. And what makes this even weirder is before I even opened the letter, the package, I knew something weird was going to be in there, and I have no idea how I had that feeling, but I could sense it before I opened it, and that creeped me out even more. I would say the most scariest one I ever had was when somebody was threatening me by sending me my home address. I had no idea who this person was. They were just a random person. They were sending me my personal details and things like my usernames for stuff and my passwords for things. I still to this day have no idea how they got hold of any of that, but it was one of the scariest things that ever happened to me because I felt so vulnerable, personally attacked in a way, because I just suddenly felt so uncomfortable, and it started making me second think whether putting so much of my life online was a good thing. But obviously it is. I love what I do, and I just think that's one person out of many. It stays with you. It kind of scars you in a way. I don't think I'll forget that, and the feeling I had when I saw that in front of my face was petrifying. So yeah, happy times. See, if you send longer questions, bigger questions, there's more chance of me actually picking it from the hat, because obviously it's bulkier. This question comes from Mirandag Brazier. Oh, Miranda G. Brazier. Don't think I'm ever gonna get better at reading usernames. Have you made a decision? Oh god, this is I love these kinds of questions, but they do make me really nervous. Have you made a decision in life that has had a positive or negative impact on your life? What was it? Definitely. I mean, we all do, like even on a daily basis, there's always going to be decisions that you're making that eventually impact you in a good or bad way. The first couple of things that come to mind is obviously relationships, who you decide to be with or who you decide not to be with dramatically changes how things are going to pan out in the next year, and that can negatively or positively impact you. But that's obvious with relationships. Everyone knows that like leaving a relationship means it was negatively impacting you at one point. I'm also thinking of the fact I stayed home during university. A lot of people live on their own, like they move out of their parents' house for uni. I didn't do that. Living elsewhere during uni may have positively impacted me a bit more than staying at home did, in a sense of like getting me ready for the real world and all that jazz. But that's something I'm not going to be able to ever know. I think pushing myself out of my comfort zone and saying yes to more things, which is what I did last year, made such a big impact on me. I had this like mentality of wanting to do more things and going out there and trying new experiences and experimenting new places and events and people and stuff. Basically, if I ever like received an email asking me if I wanted to do this thing, I'd just say yeah. Or like an event came my way, I was like, I'll do that. Or someone was like, hey, do you want to go do this? And I'll just be like, yeah. And I'd book loads of things and arrange loads of things. And yeah, it was kind of financially and mentally taxing in a way, because I by the end of the year I was just like, I have no money and also no energy. But at the same time, it made a really big positive impact. The less I do, the more I kind of second think my life, as dramatic as that sounds. So I would give this piece of advice to anyone watching this video. If you're finding yourself in a bit of a rut, you're kind of like second thinking what you do, you're wondering why you're not happy even though things are all right at the moment, take note of how often you're kind of saying no to things and declining events and like not participating in stuff and like not seeing friends as much. I encourage you to do a little bit more than you are, because going places and experiencing new things and traveling and stuff can do so much good for your mental health and physical health too. Being energetic and moving about and stuff makes such a huge positive impact. I think my like health kick that I did a couple years ago probably made one of the biggest positive impacts in my life, because it just made me feel so good about myself and it made me feel glowy and healthy. And yeah, I don't do half as much as what I used to do. I really need to probably improve on my physical health. Being active and doing a lot of things makes you feel so good, and it's so easy to slip into doing nothing mode, especially when you're self-employed and work from home, because you could stay in your house and still earn money without having to leave it, and a lot of people can't do that, so they're kind of forced to go outside and go to work, and then you know you get to see the real world a little bit more. When you're doing what I do, it's very like isolating and lonely. So however, the opportunities that it gives me, the freedom it gives me, is such a positive impact, because there are so many friends in my life who hate the job they have, hate the situation they're in because they're working so much, and they hate what they do, and they hate their boss, and they hate working for someone else. The next question comes from, see, it's another big one. Hello. I feel like I got an audience now. It's pressure. This next question comes from Pippa, who's a regular watcher on my now, so hello if you're watching this video. We see a lot of your life on camera and it's wonderful to see you blossom and grow, but what do we not see behind the scenes? Oh, that's a very good question. As in the mental challenges that come with being a YouTuber, emotions and personal feelings, etc. Lots of love. I guess that kind of ties in nicely with the last question I just answered. And I know a lot of YouTubers say this, and it's probably hard to believe because it looks so like easy and like natural to most people. But I think people very easily forget that it isn't just chatting away to a camera and then posting it online and then putting up your feet for the rest of the day. It looks like that is it, but a lot of the boring stuff is the things around it, like promoting videos and doing the thumbnails and then doing the marketing around that video, and like obviously planning videos and making sure that you're making stuff people want and keeping the production good, the demand to do really well. Videography wise and editing wise is huge now on YouTube. The production value is massive, but I wouldn't say that's the hardest part, because at the end of the day it's a job and you've got to do the things that are required for you to do well and to make a living out of being a social media person. I would say what's a lot harder than any of that, and what is easily the most difficult challenge and the stuff that I hide the most, is taking everything that you do so personally. It's a piece of you that you're putting online, maybe every day or maybe every other day. Like, I'm making a bit of art in a way and putting it out there for people to just look at and say what they want and to rip the shit out of, or even praise it. Like, I don't know what the reaction's going to be. If you actually like what you do, there's some people that are just on YouTube simply to make money, and if the checks are coming in, then they're happy. But if you're on YouTube to be entertaining and for people to like you and enjoy what you do, you're not on there to cause drama and attention. You're on there for people to like you. It is so mentally taxing, again, that word I'm using, to put yourself up for judgment and criticizing. Everyone watching this probably has a Facebook account, or they've got Twitter. When you tweet something or when you make a status, you probably make sure it's got no spelling mistakes, right? Or you make sure it sounds right, and you make sure nothing sounds weird or odd about it. Or you take a photo to put on Facebook. You want to look a certain way, you want to look nice, you want your family to see that you're looking well. It is very similar to that, but imagine the scale of people who are going to see that photo or status or tweet times by 50. Imagine if all the people that are seeing that status or tweet, imagine if all of them you don't know. Imagine if they were all strangers and they weren't friends and family, so they're not going to mind if you post something stupid. Some of the people who might see it are actually people who don't like you. That is the most hardest bit, because it's so, I mean, in general anyway, I'm quite like that in real life. If I'm chatting to someone, I'm not constantly thinking about if what I'm saying is like affecting them, and I'm like constantly thinking of the right things to say, whereas most people just effortlessly say whatever and they don't really care of the consequences. But I'm quite careful with everything. So online, it's like double whammy, because it can backlash. Everyone's not gonna like me, I get that, but to try and make sure less and less people think bad of you every day is quite difficult. I just don't want to be a shitty person. I don't want to say something wrong or make a video that sucks. Like, if your views go down, if your statistics like rocket downwards, your earnings go down, or like sponsorships keep saying no to you, or the work you're getting doesn't seem to be as good as it used to be, and like clients don't come as much as they used to anymore, and like your engagement is bad, etc, etc. All of that stuff you take so personally because it's something you love doing. Artists suffer from the same thing because they're putting like all their love and energy into something, and that's being judged, and then the judgment that that piece of art is being given equals to that person's living and salary. Their wages will suck if their art sucks in the eyes of other people, and that's probably the most hardest thing. Basically, putting all your waking hours into something and not getting a good response or outcome from it can make you very depressed. It can depress you because you love what you do. And yeah, anyway, I think a lot of you guys could probably relate to that. I'm not the only one in that boat. Next question comes from, let's do a little one, Shakira. Shakira is a fellow YouTuber. If you want to check her out, I'm going to leave a link in the description. Why not? Oh god, her question starts with how the bloody hell. So she could be angry. I don't know. I doubt she's angry. How the bloody hell did you survive A-levels/uni? I'm drowning. Cutting your time you have to get something done in half. So if you think that you have 6 weeks to do a project, finish it in 3 weeks. And that sounds so dramatic, but 9 times out of 10, people always underestimate how long something is going to take to make. I never used to like teaming up as a group for uni projects. It was mainly because people had these massive ideas and like huge project loads that they put on themselves because they really want this amazing video at the end of it, but then they'd like completely underestimate how long it would take to do that. Let's say I had to interview 5 people for a video project on a documentary, and everyone would be like, interview them, film it and edit it up in 2 weeks, and I'm like, I'm not waiting until the last 2 weeks to make this project. It will take at least 2 weeks to find 5 people to interview on this topic, and then it will take another maybe even 2 weeks to film with them because people are busy. People aren't just going to drop everything they've got to film for you. It takes time to pencil people in and then actually film it, and then to edit. Things can go wrong. If you accidentally delete the footage, who knows, you're not going to have anything then, and you've got half a week left. Just make sure you give yourself more time than you actually think you have. However, you're probably at the point where you're doing the last minute pieces, I imagine, at this time of of year, there is literally no point on stressing. I know it's so easy to say rather than do, like, don't worry about it. See it as the moment you feel yourself panicking and worrying and not sleeping at night as achieving exactly what it is you don't want to achieve, which is a bad grade. Because lack of sleep and worrying over something that is going to happen regardless of if you're worrying or not is so pointless, and you're wasting so much time when that time could be spent sleeping and recharging your batteries, or it could even be spent working. The amount of times I've spent 2 hours crying about a deadline that's so close, those 2 hours could have been spent working towards the deadline, but I'm just panicking about nothing, and whether I panic or not is gonna do absolutely nothing to the deadline that's coming. Like, it's not gonna push it back, it's not gonna push it forward, it's gonna stay there, and that day is still gonna come regardless of if I worry or not. So honestly, clear head and a positive mindset. If you just keep telling yourself you're gonna do fine, then you're going to do fine. It was such like a boost because I was surrounded by people who were like, we'll be fine, you'll be fine. Or they'd look at my work and say, you're doing really good, you've got really far. And suddenly I'd be like, oh, that makes me feel so much better. And I feel clearer now because my teacher thinks that I'm on the right track and I'm doing well. That just goes to show I was stressing about work that was completely fine, and then that was making me not work on it because I was too busy worrying about what I'd already done. Yet when I got feedback from my teacher saying, you're doing fine, continue, you've done a lot of work, this is great, all of a sudden I could work better and faster, and it was making my project better. So the moral of that story to me was, if I don't panic, if I tell myself I'm doing fine, and you will do fine, and I had that faith in myself, I will do fine. Fake it till you make it, that kind of thing. Yeah, so that's my advice. Hope it helped. Janice_Scissorhands, and she asked, do you plan on having children in the future? If so, how many would you like? Well, when I was younger, I always wanted to have a family of my own. As I got older, I kind of got scared by the fact that I still feel so young now. I was expecting myself to feel a lot older when I hit 22 when I was little, and I still feel 15 years old. So having a child is just such a weird concept to me. I'm like, how the hell am I going to birth life and give a good life to something when I'm not even sure what a good life even is defined as? So that concept freaks me out. I don't like the idea of dying and not leaving anything behind me. That would be weird to me if I didn't have kids, didn't have a family, and I just kind of passed away and knew that I was leaving nothing on this earth other than what I do on here and maybe some friends. They'll die with me soon. I want to leave some sort of footprint, if that makes sense. It's a cool feeling to know that you're kind of starting a new generation. And I think if I was like cozy and happy and content in my own home with a lovely husband, I'm probably going to get those urges to start a family because I'm a Cancer, and Cancer's all about homely life, and my own parents aren't going to be here forever, and I'm going to want to start my own little unit up because I would get lonely and I want something to look after. Hopefully not just dogs, because I don't want to be a scary dog lady. Anyway, that was a fairly long answer for a very short question. I can never give short answers. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to continue giving me your truths down there if you want to be featured in the next Truth Tuesday video. I'm also on social media such as Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and Snapchat. You can ask me questions on there. Click the bell to be notified every time I make a new video, by the way, guys, because YouTube no longer tells you if I make a new video if you're a subscriber. Yeah, I will see you for my next video. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this, and welcome back to Truth Tuesdays. Bye. By the way, here's some exclusive footage. She is the best, better than all the rest.